Hello my dear friends, and welcome back to another video. Happy Monday. This is the week of the Andor Season 1 finale. Episode 12 is finally upon us, and as with all finales, it's very bittersweet. On the one hand, it's the culmination of so much story, so much plot, and on the other, it's gonna come to an end, and we have to wait 2 whole years until Season 2. But on the bright side, there is so much Star Wars content coming up. 44 days until the Bad Batch Season 2. Now today's video is evidently the final preview for Andor Season 1, so let's make this last one count. We do have some breaking news before we dive into it though. This afternoon, Andor Season 2 begins production. Filming starts today, but the biggest piece of news of the day has nothing to do with Andor. Bob Iger has returned as the CEO of Disney. He's agreed to come back for 2 years with a mandate from Disney's board of directors to set the strategic direction for renewed growth. Things were not looking good under Chapek. In 2 years' time, after Iger is done again, he's going to identify a new successor. So what does this mean for Star Wars? Well, in my opinion, it's a good thing. He might not be ideal, but he definitely knows how to throw money at opportunity. Sure, there were some mess-ups, but he arguably understands the creative side a lot better than Chapek, and he's not looking to cut corners. And more than anything, he's going to organise the movie side of things for Lucasfilm, so that could be a net win. Just get things organised and the movie schedule back on track. As I say, probably not ideal, but a better alternative to Chapek. Share your thoughts in the comments down below, guys, but without much further ado, and without any more jibber jabber, let's talk some Andor. Let's have some fun, talk about what to expect, and some speculation. And in the comments down below, I suppose my question of the day is, how would you rate the overall Andor Season 1 experience, up until this point of course? Was it all positive for you? Maybe some of it, or maybe you're someone who didn't like it whatsoever. Whatever your opinion on the show, share it in the comments. So let's begin with what we know. A few lucky fans got the screeners a few days ago, and they all seem to confirm that episode 12 is just under 55 minutes, to be specific, 54 minutes and 11 seconds, and the reception has been overwhelmingly positive, even more so than for the premiere. And for those same people who saw it, the consensus about the finale is that there are wonderful payoffs from earlier episodes, and my favourite review said to not temper your expectations, it's just that good. Now, a small spoiler warning, something I did cover the other day is that there is going to be an end credit scene. I've seen screenshots of it on the Star Wars Leaks Reddit page, and all I can say is that there are enormous connections to Rogue One, but also the novel Catalyst. And another big spoiler warning, guys, for something that's going to take place in episode 12. Maarva recorded a message before she died, and that's going to be played to the people of Ferrix. We're going to see her in a hologram. I think she's going to tell everyone to stand up against this fascist regime. In other words, her final message. And maybe like a will, she might have indicated who she wants to look after B2. As I say, it could be Brasso or Bix. So in terms of the plot, to speculate, we can use remaining frames from the trailers and TV spots that have not made their way into the show yet, and some educated speculative guesses. Let's begin with the revolution on Ferrix. That's right guys, I've been saying this for 2 or 3 weeks, and I really thought it was going to be in the last episode, but I suppose it's now confirmed that it's going to be saved for the finale on Wednesday. Everyone apart from Mon Mothma, Kleya and Luthen are headed for Ferrix to capture Andor. The assumption made by those who want him, Dedra, Cyril, and even Vel, is that given Maarva just died, Cassian is coming home. But is he really? I think Zan Wan just saved Cassian's life when he told him about his mother's death over the phone, while Andor and Melshi were in Neamos. Is Andor really going to go back, or is he going to figure out he has no home to go to? Honestly, I'm going to say both options are viable. On the one hand, he might want to see B2, Bix, and Brasso, but on the other, he's going to be super vigilant about the Empire, and he might realize this is his one chance to either lay low in Neamos or even find refuge yet again on a different planet altogether, maybe even go by a different alias. And to link it to later in Rogue One, could this next destination lead him to meet Draven and join the Rebel Alliance? He's clearly now going to fight the Empire for the Rebel cause, and his mother's death is a huge catalyst for that moment. But a question we must have is, what specific route is going to lead him to Yavin by time of Season 2? Let's find out. Also on Ferrix, I suspect Bix is going to be let go when she tells the ISB that Kreegyr is indeed Axis. Even even though of course he's not. Axis is Luthen, but this is her opportunity to get out, throw Krieger under the bus, and speaking of him, he's about to attack Spellhouse, and we expect in this episode he's meant to be captured and killed by the Empire, since Dedra Meero is aware of their plan. But what if I told you this might be a misdirect? In the last episode, Saw decided he was gonna join Krieger, but Luthen warned him last minute that he's walking into a trap. Now I think Canto might dodge a bullet somehow, and the reason I say this, guys, is because in the trailer there's another frame of Segra Milo, one we haven't seen yet, so we're definitely getting more Saw and his men, and in the clip, Saw's partisans have their blasters pointed at someone, and I don't think that someone is Luthen or Saw. It might be Anto himself, who might have somehow found out about the trap, and that Luthen and Saw didn't warn him they were willing to sacrifice him and his men. Just a theory at this stage, but you never know what Lo Ne-Yoon did or said after that meeting with Luthen on Coruscant. Moving on, and this might be a bit of a long shot, but I'd love for the final episode to give us some of Luthen's backstory, just a little bit, because there have been lots of hints at some kind of connection to Force users, even though I don't think he is one himself, but his artifacts and the use of Kyber on his ship point towards something like that. I was gonna say his staff, but that's now been debunked to not be a lightsaber, but rather a pocket knife of sorts. In terms of people who are after Cassian, aside from the ISB and Cyril, Vel is going back there too. She's obviously not going to kill or capture him. I think she's going to try and convince him, if he does show up, to join the rebel cause. But I suspect Vel is also going there for Cinta, and while I do want a happy ever after for them, I'm worried one of them might not make it. And you know what, guys? That is pretty much where my speculation ends for the last episode. Apart from the uprising on Ferrix and everyone wanting Andor, there is very little else we can predict. I love that this show is surprising, we just don't know what's going to happen. And on the Mon Mothma front, I don't have anything else to add. 2 days ago, I did an entire video about her story and where it might go from here, so I don't want to be repetitive. Please go and check that out if you're interested. In terms of things like cameos, while I would love one, I don't think the finale has any. But then again, it really doesn't need it. The reason I say no cameos is because I've gotten the impression from people who've seen it that there isn't anything like that in this episode. It's once again purely plot driven, and the characters will have their arcs rounded off. Not totally, but in a way that sets up season 2. And here's a question for you guys. Do you think any characters are gonna die? We know from actor interviews that Cassian, Dedra, Cyril, Bix, and Luthen all make it out alive. But could we see someone like Salmon Pack be hung by the Empire? I think Marva's funeral is going to be huge, and something will take place during the procession that sets off the protests. I think Ferrix and the people of Ferrix have had enough, not to mention that Tony Gilroy teased the final line spoken is crucial to understanding the second season, so let's wait and see what happens. And one more thing, guys, some new comments by Diego Luna for season 2. This is from his interview with the Playlist, and he said the following: "One thing we've said, and everyone knows it, is that the next season ends just before Rogue One. We're going to get all the way there, and many things are going to happen that I think some people are expecting." I've said it before, guys, so is Toby Haynes and Tony Gilroy. Season 1 was all about development and becoming. If you want big cameos and tie-ins, that's all going to be in season 2. We know that Yavin's going to appear, and I suspect some very familiar rebels as well. Really exciting. How are you feeling about episode 12? Are you excited? Share all of your thoughts on everything we spoke about in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and why not become a patron? You get your name at the end of my videos, while also getting access to tons of videos not found here on YouTube. May the Force be with you always.